We had some sautéed greens.
The morning glory.
The morning glory.
The morning glory.
Super delicious.
Super great.
There was also like rats running around in and out of the sewer right next to where we were eating. It's like as long as they weren't going across our feet, I was fine with it. Welcome back to Whipped Cream Salmon. I'm Ronnie Sanchez. He's Brian Bastanza, and you are listening to the world's creamiest podcast. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
So creamy up in here. Super dope up in here. I'm doing great. Had a great week. Excited to be on the pod.
Always excited to be on the pod.
We have a super big episode today. Episode 10. Let's go.
Episode 10.
Double digits, baby.
That's right.
Let's go. Oh.
Dude, we've been cruising. Our numbers are climbing, slowly creeping up. One day closer to our studio. One day closer to quitting our jobs.
We're getting closer to Joe Rogan.
That's true. We are closer today than we were yesterday.
We're not.
We're closer.
Well, he's growing.
He's growing faster than we are. That's
probably
for sure.
I would guess that. I would guess that.
Yeah, you would guess correctly.
We'll have to fact check that.
Tomato.
Oh yeah. What do we got going on today? What are we going to talk about, Ronnie?
We're gonna talk about Thailand.
Let's talk about Thailand.
This one's for the boys.
For the boys.
And by for the boys, I mean us.
Yeah, you and me.
Because we want to do it.
Of course.
That's fun.
I mean, I'm sure other people want to do it too, and maybe we can give some insight to people who've been itching to go that haven't gone. Maybe some people are going to email us and be like, y'all are idiots, and you didn't even do this, and you didn't even do that. And
I hope they do that, because that just gives us one more reason to go back.
Not
that I need any more reasons to go back.
It's so good. We've been talking a lot about, like, obviously going back to Asia. You know, Japan's been at the top of the list, and then Ronnie said the other day, like, but Thailand's right there, don't you know? Don't you know? I don't know what that was. Nebraska, Fargo, kind of accent.
Yeah, Midwest.
Shall we? What are you drinking?
I've got a local brew. It's an IPA called Cloud Surfer, and it's by Trophy Brewing Company here in Raleigh. It's a good one.
Nice. I'm also going local. I'm kind of cheating because this is the first week on the pod that I'm redoing a beer. This is the old Mecklenburg Brewery Hornets Nest Hefeweizen. I really like it, and I'm going back to it. And also, I've just been stockpiling beers in the fridge, and it's time to start getting through some of them. So
cheers, brother.
So cheers, my dude. Clink.
There's a brewery right down the street from me, and they have like a bottle shop in there. So I've been going in just getting singles of all kinds of different stuff in there.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I can actually do that right at Trader Joe's, but I never do. I always get like a 4-pack. I'm sitting on that. Remember a couple weeks ago I had that like cookie butter beer?
Yeah.
I've been dying to give this stuff away. I mean, it is tasty. It's just like, it's a thick boy, you know? And like, you have to be, I don't know.
That's tough.
I don't know what mood you got to be in to drink that. It's just too much for me. And I like a good, like after a ski day, like a porter or something. This is like, it's like sweet heavy, which like, I don't know what to do with, to be honest.
Are they tall boys?
Yeah, it's like same as this, probably a 16er. Yeah.
16 ounce.
It's like you got to split it with someone during dessert or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to complain about beer. Okay. That's not how we started this pod.
Are you cooking this week? Are you back on your challenge?
Dude, you know I got ducked again this week.
No chance.
I did cook this week. We did not do country food challenge this week.
No.
But I did go to a barbecue on Friday that I participated in, which I was really excited to.
Fun.
I kind of went, dude, I'm all about that pulled pork slider. Actually, the intent when I got to the store, on my way to the store, was to do like kind of a Korean short rib slider.
Nice.
But then, dude, you just roll up on that meat section, you see that fucking pork butt for $20. It's just like, how could I not get that? You know what I mean? So it was still like kind of I don't know if it's Korean inspired. I'm gonna loosely say it was pretty Asian inspired, and I kind of marinated the pork, some fish sauce, some soy, and then just some just like cut up onions, ginger, carrots, and kind of let that sit for I don't know an hour and a half, and then seared that up. Threw that in some liquid. I had some beef stock and some oyster sauce, more fish sauce, maybe another something. But yeah, I mean, pretty basic. I mean, or pretty chill. And I did it in the pressure cooker, so that was pretty quick. A little bit longer than I actually thought. And I actually missed the timing of it. I pulled it at like 45 and I was like sure it was going to be done. And it was like mostly shredded, but it wasn't fully shredded. And I wound up going back into the pressure cooker, but with it like mostly shredded with all the liquid for another 10 minutes on high.
Interesting.
And it actually was worked out pretty good because then like, because with all braises, right, when it's like a big cut of meat, it like the liquid doesn't really get in with the meat. It's like on the outside. It's making the whole thing tender, but it's not like really like penetrating the meat. And then at this point, I like kind of like mostly shredded it up, put the liquid back on it, and then like blasted it for another 10 minutes. And it was actually like, I think it made it better than I even it would have been if I just nailed the time at first.
When you do your pork in the Instapot, do you set it to saute first and brown your meat?
Dude, my Instapot does not brown anything. Zero, full stop. But I do it on the side. I had my cast iron roll and I just like had a rip in it. So I did like sear it good, but
it doesn't have like a saute mode?
it does. It's just like doesn't get hot enough to do anything. Like it like
Really?
doesn't sear. Like yeah, it's a full stop. It's like
damn.
I don't know. You're gonna like steam the meat when you put it in there, even if it's like a chicken breast or whatever. It's just like not hot enough to like get a brown on it.
That's so wild to me, and I mean, obviously, it must be like the difference in the models that we have.
Yeah, maybe.
I can get a hard sear on.
That's awesome. I wish.
Yeah, damn.
The best was when I did it like outside. I think when we went camping, I did it outside on the flat top. I mean, we can talk a bunch of ways about how to sear meat good. I mean that's a really good way to do it, especially with like a big old like pork butt or whatever. But no, I mean I've been like super unsuccessful with that. Only like I've tried it more than once because you've said it.
Right.
And then I keep on being unsuccessful.
I know. That's why I keep saying it, because I'm like, no, you're just doing it wrong. But I mean,
I mean, maybe it's possible, but like, I'm like, had this thing ripping for like, it only, so the saute mode is like 30 minutes, right? It's like, that's the max it goes for on mine. You can set it to 30 minutes. And I mean, I had a rip in there for like 15 minutes before I start searing something. And it's just like crowded pan syndrome, you know?
Just didn't.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, not a big deal at all. I like don't feel differently about the Instant Pot because of that. I just like,
yeah,
it's to me just a limitation of it. And it's also like has high walls anyway. So like to get a really good, I don't know. I mean, you're saying, but like I do get when it's ripping, then you can sear anything if it's hot enough. But yeah, I'm not having that experience.
You were talking about doing like an Asian pork butt. You were talking about Korean short rib, and then you talked about the pork butt and a really good recipe. So we have it's like listed as a fucking air fryer. It's a convection toaster oven. You know,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good size. And it has like a what do you call it? Like a screen, like a basket, or like a wire. It's a wire mesh, like sheet tray basically, and then it has a solid sheet tray under that. But something that I really like to do is take your pork butt and freeze it, and then take it out and get it, submerge it in water. Obviously in the vac sealed bag or whatever, just long enough to like soften, so where it starts to thaw, the outside, like I'd say like 20% thawed, and the rest of it's still frozen. And then take that frozen pork butt, and then you can shave it really thin with your knife. So slice it from there, and then you can get those nice like super thin, like I think at like the Asian market you can buy them thin like that. I think it's called shabu shabu.
Oh, nice.
If you see it like in the freezer section, like they're really thin. I mean, obviously, if you had like a meat slicer, you could accomplish it that way. But this is just how I do it. So slice it really thin, and then make a marinade of whatever kind of. I've done it with like Korean marinade, like gochujang and garlic and ginger and soy, whatever, like sesame oil, whatever you want to marinate it in, and or you can just go and buy one of those fucking Korean barbecue marinades. Really easy. So once you have your sliced meat, marinate that for a couple hours, and then you put it into your air fryer, and you basically just like stack all this meat up on top of each other into like a conglomeration of sliced meats, and then fucking as hot as it'll go, let it go, and then every 15 minutes or so take it out and like turn it all, and by the end of it, like the fat from the pork will like render, and then you get like the crispy like craggly bits on the outside of it, and it just becomes like super nice, delicious, tender Korean barbecue, but done in your oven.
So dope. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it earlier, but before I touch on what you just said, I'm full stop on calling it an air fryer. I don't want to hear it.
If you're using one of those things that looks like an egg or like a little spaceship, the thing is garbage. It's good for making chicken nuggets.
Yeah, dino nugs.
Because they'll sell full ovens, like range ovens now, that have air fry mode. It's a convection oven.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah. It's like, dude,
you don't reinvent the wheel here.
The marketing is strong. They convinced the entire world that this thing that they already had, that they needed it. Everyone has a fucking toaster oven or a regular oven.
And I get that not all ovens have a convection mode on it.
Sure.
And if you don't know what convection means, it just means that there's a fan inside of the oven that's blowing the hot air around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it is, I mean, a more efficient, or at least a faster way to cook food in the oven, for sure.
Not new technology.
No, it's been around for
50s. I don't know.
I have no idea when it started. Forever.
Before I was born, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Cavemen had fucking bellows, and they were sitting there blowing on their food inside of a stone box. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think so in the Boy Scouts for sure. But anyway, yeah. Crispy bits on the Korean barbecue. That sounds super dope. Dude, I want to go to Seoul too.
Yeah, I don't know if I explained it very well, but like, I don't know, maybe I could, next time I do it, I'll post a reel or something. But
yeah,
you just like, I guess it's kind of hard to explain, but you have that like thin sliced meat, and I kind of keep it like in just like a square, like all piled on top of each other, like kind of thick. And the way, because it takes so long, like all the fat from the pork butt renders, and I know by the time you're done, it's like delicious. There's like crispy bits. It's super tender, and then just serve that with some steamed rice or whatever. It's really delicious.
That's a raw pork butt.
I take it from raw, marinate it, and then I cook it in the air fryer.
Gotcha.
In the fucking air fryer.
In the
toaster oven. In my convection toaster oven.
Yeah.
And that toaster oven has essentially replaced my oven altogether. I almost don't use my oven anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're two people. We're two people over here. Like, I mean, there are things that I put in the oven, but I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, not a ton. Not a ton.
No. It's a good thing to have in your kitchen for sure.
Yeah. You been cooking some stuff this week though?
I did. I made pad see ew on the patio last night. That was fun.
Ooh. Wok burner?
Yeah.
Was ripping?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did that with some chicken thighs, and I feel like I made something else this week, but I didn't really. So I started my kitchen job, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I went in last week. Today was my first day officially there working, but I went in last week. They had me come in at like 10 o'clock, and I worked like a half day, and I don't have my like kitchen shoes anymore. I don't have a lot. Coming from Pepsi, which is a very physical job, I averaged like 20,000 steps a day and was very, very active, moving heavy cases of, sodas, not light, pulling them off trucks and stuff. Um, that kind of work and kitchen work is so wildly different. I was in the kitchen and I just had like regular sneakers. Dude, my back was torched the end of like a half day back in the kitchen, and I was been pretty much out of commission all week.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a rough go. There was like I mean, I have a bad back anyway. But yeah, being back half day back in the kitchen, I was fucked. But I had a full day today. My back's still sore, but my back's kind of always sore.
You gonna get some Birks?
Oh, Birkenstocks, like I said, perks, like Percocets. And
Molly Percocet.
no, I ordered some Crocs, which is what I always used in the past. I know that Birkenstocks are supposed to be really great for the kitchen. I've never worn Birks. I know that they have like a pretty serious break-in time. So my thought process was that I would get the Crocs for now, which I know are comfortable and that I like. And then if I feel inclined, then maybe later I'll go to the Birkenstocks, and then I'll at least have the Crocs that I can switch in and out of while I'm like breaking those in,
Sure.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
do they have mats in the kitchen?
No, that was, dude, and it was stupid. I mean, I wore like my most uncomfortable standing around shoes, just leather Reebok sneakers that I have, like, and I wore them just because they're old and I didn't care if they got dirty and they're leather. So like if anything spilled on them, like hot oil, it's not going to just like seep into my foot.
Sure.
Which is why I wore them. Plus, I didn't, it was a short day, so I figured I'd be fine. But it really, really wrecked my back. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've gone soft.
Well, I'm giving you a big old hug through the pod. Okay.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Everyone listening, let's join in and give Ronnie a big old hug. That was nice.
Yeah, thanks.
It felt nice for me.
Felt good. Yeah, I feel the love.
Cool.
So just dive into our trip. I just want to talk noodles.
What was the first thing that we ate, Ronnie? After we got out of the airport. We'll start in Thailand. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so when we first landed in Thailand, it was really early in the morning, right?
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6 in the morning, something like that. Yeah.
So we couldn't check into our hotel for a while. So the very first thing we did was we took a cab to a park. Just went to a park just to get some fresh air.
Fresh is a strong word. Yeah.
And it was I thought it would be like nice to like we could like lay out on the grass or something and like stretch our legs and get some fresh air. The park was like smack dab in the center of Bangkok, and it was pretty overwhelming. I think also like there was like we were a little delirious. We were all very tired. Brian and I we slept a total of 0 minutes on the plane, which was a like 25-hour.
Dude, it's crazy. I'm like,
More than that. I mean, it was honestly more than that because by the time we left here and then went to the airport, we had a flight to Chicago, and then there was like several hours that we were in Chicago, and then flew to Tokyo, and then from Tokyo to Bangkok, and
zero sleep. I'm awful at it. I like cannot do it. Doesn't matter how long.
no, I don't fit on an airplane. First of all,
I took an Ambien and I didn't fall asleep.
yeah,
And I was up for 30 plus hours and an Ambien and was just there in a park in Bangkok with just super tired.
yeah,
In the best way possible. I like part of me loves that delirious feeling of being so tired, but like keeping it going, you know.
Well, you get past that tired point, right? Like you break through to the other side from you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you go past the point where it's like, I just need to sleep till you're like, well, I'm fucking up now.
It's the best.
And also, I mean, there was a lot of excitement just being there, right?
Of course.
You get to the park, there's fucking like monitor lizards swimming in the canals, these like giant dinosaur lizards. Get changed out of our fucking airplane clothes. It's also hot in Bangkok. So we were, in like sweatpants or whatever we were all wearing on the plane. Put on some shorts and flip flops, and then punched in nearest food in the navigation.
We didn't realize like you'd be looking up places to eat and it would be like, oh, this is like a restaurant. Like go to this restaurant. It has X many stars and it's in this location. It has a place on Google Maps. And then you get there and it's just like a wok burner and like some like garden chairs a lot of times. Right? Like it's like not
Yeah, it's just a
that's
street
just
cart.
super normal.
Yeah, it was funny because you guys were like, I was like, okay, there's something here, and I think everyone was following me. Like I had an idea of where we were going. Like, oh, I had found this restaurant on Yelp and it's got good reviews. Let's go there. Now it was literally just like whatever the closest food to us was, and that's where we walked to. And yeah, we turned a corner. I was like, I think this is it, and it's just like, yeah, a couple umbrellas and plastic chairs and a fucking street vendor, and it was dope, super dope.
And it was honestly like one of the dopest noodle bowls that I ever had up until that point, and probably still have, right? Like,
I think it was one of the best things that we ate in Thailand.
again, like super culture shock, super tired. This dude who was like super stoked to see us. Like, I don't know if like that kind. I don't know what the tourist vibe is, right? Like, we are kind of. I don't know that we're unique, but like, not everyone that travels to Bangkok like wants the experience that we were looking for, right? Like, oh, I want to stumble on weird food shit all day, every day, right? And that's not. I don't know that most of the vacationers that come from Europe or Japan, like, I don't know that that's the vibe that they're looking for, but they're super stoked to see Whitey. They sat Whitey down and they were like 4 bowls of whatever you got, and we are like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's chicken noodle soup." Everything's fucking chicken noodle soup. It has chicken in it. It's got noodles. They call it chicken noodle soup. But like,
Go Tiao Gai Gong.
Go Tiao Gai Gong. But like big like chicken feet floating in it, right? And like big old slices of blood cake.
Yeah, it was like a really dark. Yeah, it was a really dark broth, right, with noodles in it. And there was like chicken. There was like a chicken like drumstick or something, and then like also like pulled pieces of chicken. But then yeah, there was also weird shit in there, right?
Blood cakes. I was so excited to be there, and like in that moment in time, I was like, I don't care what you put in front of my face. I'm so excited that I'm gonna try it. And I think that started to, I started to wean off that towards the end of the trip. I was a little more picky towards the end of the trip. I was never like, oh, I like felt like I was still like adventurous, but like there was some things where I like I've been down this road before, and I know that I'm not going to like that thing that you're trying to put in my mouth, but at that time, and 5 o'clock in the morning, like stumbling down the street, it was like, I don't care what this is, surprise me. And I'm sure I'm like, and in that moment, I was like, this is fucking so bomb. I still think it was so bomb.
It was incredible.
I'm not sure that I could house blood cakes like that ever again in my life.
Yeah, you ate all of them. I was like, I will try it because we're here, and I did. I took a bite. I tasted it. It was like, it tasted fine. It was
good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. The flavor was good. Wasn't a big fan of the texture. It's really just a gelatinized cake of blood, pork blood.
It was pork blood or chicken?
Definitely pork blood, dude. It's definitely pork blood.
It was chicken blood. Agree to disagree.
And chicken feet, and but the noodles and the chicken was super tender and delicious, and the broth was super rich and delicious, and it was also spicy. And then it had like fresh basil and like I think scallions in there. Or I can't even remember everything, but everything that we had. I mean, it was super super delicious. It was amazing.
You think you do? Do you remember it being Thai basil?
I don't
either. And like we've had this conversation a little bit, but like I remember very little Thai basil in Thailand. Whenever I get to Vietnamese food, whether it was here or when we were in Asia, Thai basil in the Vietnamese restaurants, but not so. I don't know that we ever had it in the Thai restaurants.
Yeah.
Maybe in some dishes they like mix it in, but they always use this like holy basil, which is, I think leafier, sweeter, not as spicy. Like Thai basil has that really like spicy flavor that I love. I like really love Thai basil, but they don't use it that much in the day-to-day dishes, it seems.
Yeah. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I feel like if we had it anywhere, I feel like it was in that bowl of soup.
That's why I asked it. I was like, maybe that's where, if we had it, it was there in that. I don't know.
It could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't know. So, took down our noodles, and then we went to 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, dude, that became the safe haven. I mean, by the time we got comfortable there,
ding dong, hello, welcome.
There's a loudspeaker every time you walk through the door. Welcome.
Every time someone comes through the door, and somebody's always coming through the door. So the entire time that you're in 7-Eleven in Thailand, it just ding dong, hello, welcome. It just doesn't stop.
Yeah, for real. That must be so annoying if you work there. It's like all day, every day.
It would drive me crazy. Yeah.
Asian 7-Elevens are awesome.
Yeah.
They got all sorts of fun stuff. People rave about the Toasties. It's a frozen.
It's American cheese ham sandwich.
Yeah, it's a ham sandwich. They have other ones.
Yeah, they got a bunch. Then they'll throw it on a panini press for you.
Yeah.
Which I think they're great. If 7-Eleven here had them, I would definitely get those.
Sure.
Yeah, and the best part is they're like 30 cents or something.
Everything is just your money goes so far.
Yeah.
Western money is just like gold. I mean, it's converted and we're using it, but it's like, man, how many meals did we have? Like the four of us were eating a sit down meal with beers, and like you walk out of there for like, it's like $12 for the four of us.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yep.
It's awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I haven't traveled a lot to like South America or Mexico, but I've heard it related as like, oh, like you're going to spend less money flying to Thailand for 2 weeks than you are driving over to Mexico for a couple weeks. And Mexico is not expensive either. Like,
no, I believe it.
The money goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sevi was great. We were always in there just like grabbing a single beer or a couple beers. Really a single, because it's like so hot that like you got to crush your like 12 ounce and then like go back and get another one for the most part.
So it's hard to find a place to like throw your garbage away in Thailand. But every 7-Eleven has a trash can out front, and there's a 7-Eleven every 100 feet. So you just go from one to the next, and you can drink in public. So you just go in and grab a beer.
Can you?
Yeah,
I mean, I know we did the whole
we
time,
did, but yeah, you
but
can't.
like, is that like?
I think it's legit. No, I looked it up before we did that.
Because I've done that in Reno a bunch of times, and then I found out like 6 years into to living in Tahoe that like, oh, that's actually not legal, and you're not supposed to walk from casino to casino with a beer in your hand.
Really?
That's what I heard.
I thought this was America. Yeah, you just go from 7-Eleven to 7-Eleven. You just grab a single beer, and then
Pack of ciggies. Ciggies are so gnar there. They're the same. They're the same ciggies, but they have like pictures of like the gnarliest lung cancer on it.
I think that's common in a lot of other countries, though.
Oh, you think that's just the states because we
Yeah,
make the ciggies, so we like advertising them.
I think even maybe in like Canada they do that.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
Yeah, so we end up going back to the hotel. We crash out for a little bit. I can get up later that night. We go out for a walk, get some street noodles. I was like, I don't know, it was whatever. We were just like cruising around the streets.
Yeah.
The first place that we stayed, I can't remember the neighborhood.
The cat house.
That it was called. Yeah, the house is called the Cat House.
There's a lot of stray cats around.
Yeah.
There's also a big painting of a cat. People like cats. We got our haircut with this super dope cat, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The cat didn't cut our hair, to be clear. The owners had a cat that was very funny looking, and we got some pictures with them.
Super cute. Like older couple. Like we both needed our haircut, and we were just like going for our daily walk around the neighborhood, and there was a barber pole out in front, and we see this like an older woman out there, and we gestured to her that we wanted our haircut, and she gets like super excited and like runs inside, and then her husband like comes out of one of the back rooms. So like one thing you have to know is like all of the houses there are also kind of their, well, not all of them, but a lot of the houses are also their businesses. So it's either a restaurant or in this case it's a barber shop. But yeah, he kind of gets comes out and he's like puts on his like tool belt with like his clippers and stuff in it, and we just kind of like pointed to pictures on the walls of what we wanted, and it was one of the better haircuts that I've ever gotten. It took a really long time, but he crushed it. And also, I was the only time I think I've ever gotten my haircut where they only used like the buzzers.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of scissors. I don't have a buzz cut, but he cut my hair exclusively with the buzzers. But they had a big fat cat with
so funny.
He was like on a very funny looking cat. Brian's got a great picture.
Yeah.
I'll post it. And got this big fat cat with a funny expression on his face. But he was like in a harness on a leash. He was just chilling in there.
Yeah, I mean, we should say a lot of the stuff that I find dopest, or the things that I want to see the most, or the places I want to hang out, like you're kind of amongst like pretty extreme poverty in a lot of ways, right? The people like Ronnie said, like it's their home, it's also their business, their storefront, right? And they like they get their stuff together and they kind of stroll out front, and there's a lot of mix between, it seems like life and their jobs, right? Like it's all one thing. There's not like a big separation like here, like, oh, we work our hours and then we go home and we have like a separate, we use this term work life balance all the time, right? Whereas like it just seems like, oh, everyone's just living their lives, and their lives happen to be doing whatever their thing is, whether that's cooking food or cutting hair or whatever. There's also a lot of pride taken in the work. I don't think that that's unique to Thailand. I mean,
Yeah.
but Don't you think that like we're just so spoiled in a way, like because of our Western, like our Western way of life, that like I don't know. I mean, I feel like they just care so much about technique and stuff. Where I think a lot of times we fall short. I think like the poorest motherfucker there is like really good at the thing that they're doing, which is that's not normal for people in the States. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a big part of that is that like they're able to pursue things like opening a restaurant without having to like jump through all the hurdles that we would have to here. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be dope if you and I could fucking open a restaurant in your garage, but it's not really
Yeah.
the reality of the
You get
situation.
shut down immediately. They're like, "What is that rat?" Like, that's my pet rat, dude. Like, chill out.
Don't worry about them.
Buzz Killington, dude, chill out. Yeah, we're Americans are so lame sometimes.
So we got to talk about the next. One of my other favorite things that we ate
I think I know what you're talking about.
from the meatball lady,
The bun lady.
the bun lady.
Yeah, great buns on that lady.
We were walking back to the cat house, and this like really old woman. She's cooking like she's basically it's like a shanty, really. I mean, like the building is like comprised of like random signs and stuff, and like banners that are like I don't know, like a Pepsi promotional banner or something, and there's like, that makes up like one of the walls in there, and like different signage, really, and she like gestures us over as we're walking down the street, and I don't really recall like actually ordering anything. I feel like she was just like, "You're gonna eat this," and she just like packaged up two of these giant bao buns. I still don't really fully know what they were, but it looked like a bao bun. And the ones that I've had in the States, they're like mostly bread, and then in the center of it, there's like a little bit of like a char siu pork or something. Sometimes it's like a red bean, like the bean paste, And these were about 10% bread and 90% meatball. And they were just these giant, delicious. I mean, I was honestly like kind of nervous to bite into it when we first like, okay, like first of all, I think it was like 30 cents for two of them. We
So
like
fun.
take on, we like look at each other, all right, and we bite into this thing, and it was just like a little thin layer of bread, noodle, whatever, fucking steamed bun, and then all meatball on the inside, and in the center of the meatball was like a quarter of a hard boiled egg in the in the very center of it, which I was also not anticipating, but it was so delicious, so
good.
incredibly delicious. And yeah, I've been thinking about that bun for a long fucking time. Actually, before we made this podcast, we were considering doing a YouTube channel, and our first YouTube video was going to be us trying to recreate that, which we should still do.
Yeah, we should still do that. Those buns were amazing. And also like these are not the. I think in the States we probably like think when we think bao or when I think bao buns, I think of like the clamshell lid ones. These are like the fully encased like bao bun. They look like dumplings basically, right? But massive, softball size.
Yeah, it's like the size of a softball.
Dumplings. Yeah,
huge.
That was awesome. Just I mean, generally, just walking around and just like trying like a little thing for, like you said, like 30 cents here, 30 cents there. You can spend money, and
we did.
We definitely didn't. We definitely. I don't necessarily believe that. Like, they will take advantage of Whitey when they can. They know that you have some money, so if you're not in the right place and you're not paying attention, you can easily overspend on things. And when I say overspend, I'm like saying still probably spending less money than you would in the States. But over the course of a long period of time, that stuff adds up and you realize like, oh, damn, like I kind of dropped a lot of money today out of my budget. But if you are paying attention, you can spend almost nothing and eat a ton of food, right? Depending on where you're at and what you're doing. And I we definitely got ripped on some cab rides.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't even realize until like almost we were leaving the country, and like we got into a cab, and it like they don't really they don't like to go by the books with the cabs because they know that they can get more out of us. So they'll kind of pre-negotiate and they'll be like, all right, you're going here. I'm going to charge you X amount of dollars or baht. But when we finally like ended up in a cab and he happened to have like the local rates like printed out on the back of one of the seats, and we were like, oh my God, we've been we've been overspending by like 6 times the amount that is normal to pay for a ride around town, you know. But at the same time, like that doesn't make me feel super bad. Like I'm, part of me is like super stoked that like again, like a lot of these people are living in poverty. So I mean, when we can give them some money and maybe they come up a little bit, I think that that's positive for the most part.
It's a good thing for sure. What was the next memorable thing that we ate that you can think of?
My brain is going to Chiang Mai.
Okay, let's go to Chiang Mai.
Yeah, so after 4 days, I think we take a flight up to north, up to Chiang Mai, and there's some. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like on the main strip that's going to be like the places where most tourists go, and that's where you're going to get your pad thais and your curries, and you could call it basic. It's really fucking good, right? Like it's even like the most like generic like Western version of this food with the local ingredients with great service. It's such a good time. But then eventually Ronnie and I broke off from the girls and like spent a day like outside of the most touristy areas, and we ended up in this like little what would you call it, a food hall? Not really a food hall, just like a kind of a
It was kind of like a food court,
indoor outdoor food court thing.
Yeah.
And we had this cow soy that was fucking so good. No one spoke English anywhere, which is always what you're looking for. All gestures. Hey, can I sit down? I don't know. Throwing my arms up, like I'm like, I don't know what to do. Please teach me how to dine here. And this lady hooked it up with the bet. Like cow soy is this like, I don't know, how would you describe it? Like it's just like a spicy curry, like a
Yeah, it's like a noodle. It's kind of like a curry noodle soup. It's like a orangish reddish curry with noodles, and then there's fried noodles on top of that, and then there's typically like chicken, and then herbs kind of sprinkled on top, and
spicy.
it's really well known in northern Thailand, and I don't actually think it's a Thai dish. I think it's actually from Burma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean they're close together, but yeah, Chiang Mai has sort of become known for it, and it's actually something we should definitely make here because, you know what? I was at a Thai restaurant in Maui, and they had the Chiang Mai sausage on the northern sausage on the menu, which
so good.
Yeah, the northern sausage that they have up there, it's like super herby. There's lots of like lemongrass and kaffir lime leaf and garlic and probably ginger, I would have to imagine. Um, yeah, super super fragrant and delicious. Um, and we had some of that up there too.
I'm looking at a recipe right now.
For the cow soy.
It is. Yeah, and what I was gonna say earlier, and I didn't want to like to butcher it. To me, it's like very spicy, not in like a Thai like this is really hot food, like spicy, almost as in like a lot of spices, like
Oh yeah, like heavily spiced.
almost
Yeah.
like Indian adjacent, like of a dish. So this has like, so it's cow soy paste, this recipe says, and it has Thai bird chilies, shallots, garlic, ginger, cilantro, lime, turmeric, coriander, curry powder, and shrimp paste. And that's like the base paste that they're putting together. So like I didn't want to say turmeric without knowing it, but now like I was like that was on my mind, and it is in there along with the coriander, and it's like very like
it's more of a yellow paste. Yeah, I guess it's kind of orangey. Probably like the shrimp paste mixed with the turmeric makes it red and yellow, so it turns orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really delicious.
I mean, top 1 or 2 dishes we had there. To me.
Yeah.
That was
that
dish.
I'd agree.
That was like crazy, crazy good.
It was dope, but we were just like kind of like cruising around some like markets. They had like, I don't know, like food mart, just like your normal food market, but you could get all kinds of produce and then fish and then like I don't know, some like they had like a bunch of different food prepared there as well. I can't remember the name of it. There was something that I was seeking out was these like it's basically like chicharrones, and then they have this like green. It looks like a green chili salsa, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I would equate it to.
Almost a salsa verde, almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like a salsa verde.
Different ingredients, and everything is in the context of like, what can we get locally, right? So
yeah,
even like we actually like dined. We actually did have some like Indian food at least twice. Once at that like at Ga, which was like
oh yeah.
but also once at that other like Indian place in the island in Krabi, and I don't know, like I think it's Indian food, but it's these are the local ingredients of Thailand, which makes it super fun. Which honestly like puts me out of my element in a lot of ways. Not like in a like I'm nervous to try anything or anything like that. I'm just like I'm like a rookie as far as like the Thai cuisine goes, and I'm also a rookie as far as the Thai local ingredients go. So it's like it's so interesting. Everything is so interesting because you're like, oh, like I wouldn't expect this Indian dish to be like that, but because like it's here and yeah, like for example, like the oranges are just different, right? They don't have Florida oranges like we do.
Super different. Yeah, the oranges were much
I
different.
don't know if they have a different name or anything, but they're kind of like half the size of an orange, and they have like really thin um like pith to them, and they're kind of green, like half green, like they're speckled green. It's not unripe, it's just like a fully ripe Thai
The
orange.
juice is more pink.
Yeah, really
It's
good.
like yeah. I don't know that I prefer it to like a Florida orange, but like or like a navel orange like what we're used to, but like as far as like the juice, but it was good. Yeah, it was different.
Super good.
Very different.
Super good. What other fun Chiang Mai stuff? Food or not food? I mean, we did some other. I mean, it wasn't only a food trip, right? I mean,
We went to the Muay Thai fight.
So dope.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think like what other things we did that night. It was just another night where like the boys were getting after it. The girls were
getting massages. Don't blame them, but we were out. We were out at the fights, drinking beers.
Yeah.
At the markets, crushing fried chicken. The Thai people and fried chicken. I don't know, like that was not. That was unexpected for me. They're the best at it. I'm sorry. Southern fried chicken, good. Thai fried chicken, really fucking good. Some like
really good,
sticky, sweet, like fish saucy sauce on top of that motherfucker, and it's like salty as fuck and like so good.
It's like fish sauce, reduced fish sauce, and sugar and garlic. I think that's probably it.
Yeah,
very good. It's very good.
A lot of weed shops, ton of weed shops, and
oh yeah,
not only So yeah.
Although I think they're going back on that now.
It's crazy. There's a small window, right? So like before we went, I mean, would we go? We went last February. It is right now. It's September of 24. This is February of 24. I think we're like 3 or 4 months into them like fully changing their cannabis laws, and like everyone popped up a shop left and right, and like it wasn't like great. I'd actually say it was like pretty mediocre for the most part, and sometimes really high prices, sometimes like okay prices, but it was on. I mean, and you could go into like a shop and you could buy buds there, you could smoke, or um, you can't really smoke on the street. I mean, but at the same time, like there's such little presence around as far like there's so many people that like you kind of can do a lot of whatever you want. Chiang Mai had some cool shops that like we went into. A lot of good like shopping, just general shopping.
Yeah.
They also had some like pretty cool like cannabis shops and stuff. Um, buy a joint here, buy a joint there.
The night markets were off the chain.
So fun, so fun. Yeah.
I mean, and it seems like it just happens every single night. And they have night markets all over Thailand, but Chiang Mai specifically. I mean, it's just like a nighttime bazaar with, there's food and clothing and jewelry and whatever. People like macrameing things and all kinds of cool stuff. And then there's also that was also where like the Muay Thai fight was. Um, it was awesome. They're just like it's like Tuesday night, 1 o'clock in the morning. People are just like out and about, cruising around, having a good time, drinking, partying.
Do you think that like all these there's like every street is just lined with vendors, right? Like whether they're selling food, but it's kind of sectioned off, I'd say. Like a lot of them are like, okay, this is where the um they're selling elephant plants, they're selling shirts and watches and whatever, right? And then like maybe in another section would be like another like more food courty kind of area, and there might be tables. That's not like always the case. Sometimes there's things just mixed in, but for the most part, they did have some sort of organization. Do you think that those vendors like have a spot? Like this is my spot.
Yeah,
I think they do.
I don't. That's a good question. I feel like there probably is some sort of like an organization, either whether it's like amongst themselves, and they're just like kind of like policed. They police themselves, or maybe it is like an organized thing where they like sign up. I really have no idea for those kind of things, but I mean, like you walk around Bangkok and there's people just kind of set up on like wherever, and I feel like people there that is just kind of like people policing themselves, which I'm down with. Like I think that's a great way to go about living your life in a lot of ways.
It's pretty cool. And there's also like definitely like a honor system, right? Like a lot of the times, like they're just like it'll be a food cart. You're kind of like leaving all your equipment just like sitting there, right? It's like you like wash it out a little bit and
Oh yeah,
and like then it just lives there, and like they're expecting that no one's gonna fuck with their shit, and I think for the most part they don't really.
yeah, that's true. That's something that you definitely couldn't do in you couldn't in the middle of like New York City. You couldn't just like say, okay, I'm done with my hot dog cart for the night and like close up shop and leave it. Like a good chance that somebody would take it.
100%.
It wouldn't be there tomorrow.
It's interesting that Westerners don't go there and F it up for everyone. Honestly.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I'm sure that it happens. But also like the people that like find it important to like travel, I think are less likely to be the people who are like just there to fuck shit up. Is there some overlap? Of course.
Yeah, sure.
But I would say like I don't know. I think you could tell by the way that like people are received and how we were received that like that they enjoy the tourism part of it, right? I mean, they're obviously like probably a lot of people's like main source of income, right? Like I don't know like how many Thai people are buying like elephant pants left and right, but also like I don't know, there's some people that were just like super stoked to see us that are locals, and they're just like, dude, we had that one meal, and the meal wasn't, I don't remember being like so crazy. It was in Chinatown that day.
That was great.
And this gentleman, he was probably, what do you think, in his mid 60s?
I'd say
He was
60s.
just so stoked to chat us up, and he was, you know, making fun of all our accents, and he was making fun of how I said
Him and his
words,
wife.
but like
Yeah.
not in a way that was like trying to, he wasn't trying to put me down. He was genuinely just having a great time having a conversation with people who were interesting to him, you know, and he was interesting to us for sure.
You venture out just like a couple streets outside of like where people are normally congregating, you know, like tourist wise. Um, and you go into these places and just like where we got our haircut, you know, they were super excited to see us. Like these, um, it was another like husband and wife, and um, it was funny because we sit down and he like pulls out the menus and he immediately like flips over to pad thai and he goes pad thai and like points at it. He's like not spicy though. It's like no, prick, what spicy is was prick right
Yeah. Ped.
or ped. But so if you want spicy, you say ped and so he like you know flips over to the pad thai. He goes not spicy. I go, no, I wave my hand at it. I was like, I don't want that one. Ped. And he's like, his eyes get wide and he's like, starts laughing. You know, they really appreciate, like, if you learn just like a handful of words. Prick is pepper. So ped is spicy.
Ped prick.
Um,
Ped brick pad.
but either way, like, yeah, you put a little effort in, you know, like, um, you know, obviously like hellos and thank yous um and ordering like you know learn a couple names of like you don't have to learn how to speak Thai, but you know learn what you know chicken, pork, thing like simple things like
Right.
hey the locals think it's hilarious. They get a real kick out of it.
They all think it's hilarious. It's super difficult for Westerners or for Americans from our experience. Like, and even like, and the some like videos that we've watched are like, dude, this language is just so much different than like the Latin dialect of like English and even like Spanish speakers and stuff. So like, it's just very hard to get the cadence of. So like, I'm trying my best. You might figure out what I'm saying to you. You figure out that I'm saying hello and thank you. But like they all know that like it's not sounding like it's supposed to sound.
Right. But yeah, I mean it's the effort that matters, and um Thailand is full of super friendly people, and they're gracious hosts, and yeah, love that place for it. And yeah, so like that family, like they just really got a kick out of us trying to speak Thai.
Very great. Yeah.
So then after Chiang Mai, we flew down to the islands, flew into Krabi. We stayed there for just for one night, and then we got on a ferry and went out to the PP Islands,
Kopipi.
Kopipi, which is like a fucking really rowdy place, and I'm glad we stayed where we did because it definitely like if you stay right where the boat takes you into, it's full on amateur hour, um, and it's just like a bunch of like really young drunk, mostly like Australians, um, that are just there on like vacation. I mean, we were on vacation as well, but it's spring break, you know. It's the loud fucking rave clubs and stuff like that, and it's just full on amateur hour.
Sure. Yeah. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, oh, like a lot of people that are traveling there, like the reason they're going is one, it's like really like inexpensive to like go on their vacation, their holiday and stuff. Um, but they're not there for like the culinary experience that is Thailand. And a lot of them, you know, just hanging out on the beach the whole time, which is like, dude, some of the dopest, most beautiful beaches that I've ever seen. 100%.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, just like really cool wildlife around, um, good food. But like, yeah, I would say like on the island experience, the food on the island experience was very like kind of what I was saying earlier, where it's like kind of geared towards the Western like people. They're like, okay, this is like you can't find a lot like if you're on like side streets and alleys of Bangkok, like you're not really finding that much pad thai.
Yeah.
But here, it's the first thing on the menu, in every restaurant, right? But like I'll say it again, like still like a really really good time, and probably better than I even thought. For I knew we were walking into like a touristy area, right? When you go to Disneyland, you don't expect like what you're going to get. It's going to be a mediocre burger. So like that's kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting some like mediocre pad thai. That was but it happened to be like really fucking good.
It was the spot that we stayed. You had to take so you ferry to the island and then you get on these. They're called longtail boats, and they're long wooden boats. They're fairly narrow, and they have like a straight up car engine on the back, like a
V8 baby.
yeah, a fucking V8 with a super long. It's not only a V8, but it's the V8 and a fucking transmission on the back of this thing with a drive shaft that sticks way off the back of it, and it's got a propeller. And then they've got them like jerry rigged up where they like have a wire going from like the ignition switch on the engine to their like little handle. And I mean, these guys are just like they what do they call them? Sea gypsies. Yeah, the locals they call the drivers sea gypsies, and they look different than all the other Thai people. I'll just say that they fucking
dark.
Yeah, I mean
dark.
They're in the sun.
They're islanders.
Yeah. They're in the sun all day, all night, out there. Fucking.
Most Thai people are kind of light, and I right. I would say
yeah. The sea gypsies. Also their feet are kind of gnarly because they're all barefoot all the time, and they are on the boats. So they have these like their toes are like crazy from like gripping the edges of the boat and stuff, and they're pretty wild. But so you get onto one of these.
Awesome.
What's that?
They're awesome.
They are awesome.
They're just dope people. Like, and they're like wizards on the boat, and they can like. There's a lot of monkeys on those islands. They're like as agile as these monkeys, and they're like walking on the side. Like it's like a 2-inch like rim of the boat that they're kind of walking around with their like super gnar feet, and they're full on monkeys. They're awesome.
Yeah, we went out on one of these things, and the guy was like performing an oil change like as we were. As the engine was running, he was changing its oil, like taking us out to this point. But anyway, you get on a boat, and it took us out to one of the ends. I think it was called Long Beach. It takes you out to the end of this beach, and then it was pretty private and secluded over there. And there was like a couple of restaurants, and they were all great. I thought. I mean, like, what you get there is what you get. But like our server, she was like the best. Do you remember her name?
Do we have her written down? We have pictures.
We have a picture with her.
I don't know.
She was the best. They were. I mean, the people there were just super warm and welcoming, and we ate at the same restaurant like every day, and fucking had pina coladas. And
who was that dope ass lady boy that was the concierge at the place we stayed?
Yeah, I don't remember her name either, but she was awesome.
Was so dope. She was so funny.
She was great. She was great. Yeah.
She was awesome.
Yeah, their fucking my AC was broken, and she came in to fix it. It was great.
That's awesome. Little hand Jay too.
All right, so we leave the islands. We go back to Bangkok to wrap up the last couple days. Girls are tired again, and
it's 2 a.m.
Yeah,
maybe, or 11 p.m.
The girls are tired. The boys will play.
Yeah,
so the boys went out
for the boys,
and the boys went out. We got some more street food. Well, I mean, we ate in the street, but it was like legit restaurant. We were actually headed to one spot, and the spot next to it was packed. 2:00 in the morning, packed.
Yeah,
every table's full, and so we ended up sitting down there, And yeah, we're like
Japanese place, right?
No, it wasn't Japanese. It was
Oh,
I think it was a Chinese place.
oh, you think it was Chinese?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Japanese. I don't really remember. We had like a noodle dish that had all kinds of peppercorns in it. Remember? It was had like green peppercorns in it. So many peppercorns.
Yeah.
It was kind of wasn't my favorite thing. It was kind of gnarly, but the we had some sautéed greens.
The morning glory.
The morning glory.
The morning glory.
Super delicious.
Super great.
There was also like rats running around in and out of the sewer right next to where we were eating. It was like, as long as they weren't going across our feet, I was fine with it.
Yeah. There is like sometimes being on the streets of Bangkok is tough. Like
there's some smells.
Not even just Bangkok. I would say like Thailand in general. Was it Chiang Mai too?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe less so Chiang Mai.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Bangkok for sure. But even like Raleigh Beach on the islands, like there's like a sewer. Like the sewer system is primitive compared to what we have.
Yeah.
We'll say that, right? And there's a lot of just like sewage vents, and if you walk over one of them, you're getting a whiff of some shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of gnar. At one point saw this dude that he was working, and he was like waist deep in this shit. So he was like in a sewer pipe, waist deep in sewer liquid, and
that was rough.
That dude.
I hope he got out of there.
He might still be in there.
Could be. That was
pruned pretty
good.
That was
rough. That was maybe my least favorite part of the trip.
Seeing that guy.
Oh,
I mean, I like the guy.
Yeah, that's why I had a hard time seeing him in sewage.
He looked like he was having a great time.
I don't know if he was.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
Let's hear about. So one of the last nights, or the last couple nights, we did date nights, and so Rochelle and I went out. You and Sammy went out, and you guys went out for Vietnamese food.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta touch back on Fat Boy after this, but let's talk about. I want to hear your story, or tell the people your story of the Vietnamese restaurant you went to.
Yeah. So, and this is February. This is like, I think this is right around Valentine's Day, right? And so this is kind of interesting. So we're in Thailand, pretty damn close to Vietnam. Hadn't really had any Vietnamese food. It's date night. It's like let's go out and let's try this Vietnamese spot. We looked up a couple of places. We found the spot. So I said earlier that there's a lot of restaurants that are just like street carts, right? This is like a pretty high end looking restaurant with like a lot of staff, very well dressed, young staff, but like a lot, I would say a lot of staff, really nice menus. And we roll up on this place. I don't remember the name. But we walk in and it's dead. It's probably 6 p.m. on I don't know. It was probably like weeknight, so nothing too crazy to see an empty restaurant at that time of night. But we walk in and there's just like a bunch of like very young wait staff. None of them speak English. Not that that's odd, but none of them speak English, and they're just like kind of like, I don't know. We get sat, right? And we start looking over the menu and we figure out what we want to order. And like, there was just no point where anyone came over to the table, right? Like, but they're all like hanging out, like, and like super aware that we're the only people in the restaurant. And they're like looking at us, and like it really gave us this kind of like weird vibe, but like very comical. Like we're like, Sammy and I are like laughing at the situation. We're like, what is even going on here? We're like sitting there. I don't know. When you're dining in the States, you read the menu for a couple minutes, you figure out what you want, you close the menu. That's the cue for the wait staff to come over to the table. Sometimes before that, they'll come over to the table, get your drink orders, and then you continue reading the menu. Super normal shit, right? Like,
Right.
and I also like have no idea about dining customs in another country. So like, or in this country in particular, maybe it's not even just being in Thailand. Maybe it's just like, maybe this is Vietnamese style of service that I never heard of. Right. So I'm like being very cautious to be judgy, but also like, we're in here, we're clearly Western. We're like, what the hell is going on here? Like, no, like no one's coming to take our order. And yeah, so they come over and eventually, like, I think I had to like gesture to the girl, like, hey, like, it's okay to come over. Um, and we order some food, and food comes out again and again, like very weird. Like they're just like kind of like watching us the whole time. Like we're not like not so weird, but like it was definitely like kind of like very concerned about what we were doing, but also like not wanting to approach us in any way. And eventually, like I got a noodle bowl. I'm not sure exactly what we got. I think we got an appetizer and then a noodle bowl and probably something else. And like noodles were like, I don't know. I was expecting like I had a lot of like pho, right? And so it's like really brothy, like delicious pho. And this like noodle bowl comes out and it's just cold noodles. and, like and like a sweet sauce. And I'm like, what is this? You know, like, and I'm like reading the menu and it was like this like pork belly broth soup. And I like get this dish and it's just like this like sticky noodles and some beef on top. And it wasn't awful. I don't want to like say that it was awful. It definitely wasn't. And maybe I'm just like don't get it. Maybe I just like completely missed the concept of the dish. But anyway, like we were super weirded out by the whole dinner. It wasn't one of the better meals that we had there. It was edible. It was fine. But it was a really weird dining experience for sure.
You said that the waiters or whoever, the maitre d or whoever, they were just like standing like close, like watching you guys, right? Wasn't that a part of
Yeah, the whole time.
it?
The whole time. They were just like, I don't know if that's what they're like, that's part of their job. They were like probably 10 feet away from us, just like watching us dine the whole time. And we're like laughing. We're like looking at each other. We're kind of laughing. We're like joking about like how interesting this dining experience is. Again, only people in the restaurant. And we're just like, I don't know. And so, I mean, but this is also on like day 13 of our trip. Like we've eaten at a lot of restaurants up until this point, and while there are some subtle differences to service, nothing seemed odd at all up until that point. So again, like I said, maybe there's some Vietnamese service that I just didn't get. I do know that there's some cold noodle dishes that like I just don't I just don't know about, and I do know that they exist. But the entire dining experience was very weird. I was like, this is one of the weirder dining experiences I've ever had
Yeah.
up until that point. It still is.
Yeah. Yeah, we went out.
You had a bomb one though.
Yeah, we went to sushi, and yeah, it was some of the better sushi that I've ever had. Um, but the menu was pretty wild. Um, a lot of it we didn't order, but there was whale sushi, which I did. I was a little nervous about. I did not order that. But they had. Did I already talk about the puffer fish that I had there?
On the pod?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I ordered. We ordered a bunch of different stuff, and then towards the end, I saw on the menu that they had puffer fish, and it's something that I wanted to try because you get. So you have to be licensed to be able to sell pufferfish because it has a toxin and apparently it can be very dangerous to consume if the chef doesn't know how to treat it properly. And so I was really excited to try this. And apparently you get some like a numbing sensation from the toxin. Um, and it turns out that I thought I was gonna get it like sashimi. It didn't come like sashimi. It was like in a bowl, and it was sliced like julienne, like sliced like thin like ribbons, and it was like a bowl of rubber bands. And I couldn't chew it. It was hard to even pick it up with chopsticks because they were so like rubbery and slippery. Um, but the pufferfish was so chewy that it was just like squeaking between my teeth, and I couldn't like bite through it. I ate a few of them, just out of respect, really, but yeah, that wasn't very enjoyable.
Is that what the dish is?
I don't
Or is there
know.
another version that you didn't have that is what I like? So, what I expect is like sashimi.
Yeah,
It's just like a super dope cut.
sashimi or nigiri. Yeah,
It's super close to that fucking poison sack, so you even like cop a little buzz from it. And it's I just picture it as
that's fully what I was expecting it to be. Um, it wasn't that at all. It was a bowl with these ribbons, and then it had like some kind of like a sauce, like a light like soy, like maybe yuzu, some kind of bright sauce, which the sauce was nice. Um, yeah, completely inedible. I wasn't able, like, I was like trying to chew them, and it was just like squeaking between my teeth, and like, like it was like evading me being able to eat it. Um,
but the meal was dope.
the meal was super dope, and actually, what stood above, well, we also got tempura that was fan fucking tastic. All of the vegetables in which that we ate were unidentifiable because they were just like shapes. There was one that was like kind of shaped like a flower, where like all the petals were individually edible, and then the center of the flower was like kind of like a head of like broccoli, like I would think like a broccolini kind of head, but it didn't taste anything like broccoli. That was all really fucking delicious. My favorite thing that I ate though was um, it's basically spam. It was like a tempura, like fried, or it wasn't tempura. It was a panko battered fried spam, but it wasn't spam. It was called Unzen ham, and some like premium. It's basically like the premium Japanese spam, like the real shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like that with some like mayo. It was fucking amazing. That was like one of the best things that I ate in Thailand for sure.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Hell yeah. Um, yeah, some of the other like high end places, right? Now we're starting to get into like there's a lot of street shit that was just bomb, right? Like left and right, like
Mm-hmm.
bomb street shit.
Yeah, not everything in Thailand is street food. There are like
Right.
as cheap as Thailand is, you can also spend a shitload of money in
Sure.
Thailand.
And by a shitload, I mean a decent amount for
Yeah, real like New York City prices in some places.
but like just to put some perspective, like we went to like a Michelin 2-star restaurant called Ga,
Mm-hmm.
and we spent $200 a person. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
That is not close to the amount that you would spend on a Michelin 2-star restaurant in the States.
Yeah,
right.
that's
like
true.
we're talking about like maybe like $1,000 to $1,500 if
Yeah.
you went to a 2-star restaurant in the States. So like to spend $200 is a lot in Thailand because that money goes a long way. But that's, I mean, relative to what you would spend in Chicago at Alinea, we're not in the same ballpark at all. You can spend that same amount of dollars at a shitty fucking restaurant here at the fucking Applebee's. You can spend $200.
Yeah. I mean, we looked at a lot of different Michelin star restaurants before choosing that one, and there were some that were significantly more expensive than that.
That's true. That's
like
true.
there, if you want to go to Thailand and spend a shitload of money, you can do that.
Sure.
There are places that will happily take your money,
Sure.
and provide really excellent service.
Yeah. And not just food. Like, I mean,
hotels, yeah, everything.
There's everything. You can spend money on. You can go to the high end fucking malls and like all sorts of shit. You can definitely spend some money at a Gucci store or whatever. Like 100%.
Yeah. What now? We've been several months removed from the dining experience at Ga. What is your like lingering feelings about that meal? Like what is like stuck with you?
Yeah. So Ga, like just from like a super high level, like Michelin 2-star. Um, I mean, we prepay. Did we prepay or man? No, maybe we just made reservations. But
No.
really high expectations, right? I mean, like we're talking about spending like 20 times the amount that we spent on every other meal at this for this single meal. But we went into it like, hey, we're here. We don't get this opportunity very much. I've eaten at very little ultra high end restaurants, and this is an opportunity to eat at a really high end restaurant for Americans a very reasonable price. But like that also did come with like a fair amount of expectations. I when I left that restaurant and I thought that I thought that the meal and the experience was phenomenal. It was 7 courses, I want to say. Um, very thoughtful, very like um, it's a it is a Indian restaurant. Um, very thoughtfully put together dishes. That being said, and this is not really a knock, it what I feel like you don't go to a place like that to get the best, like the most delicious food that you've ever had. That's like not to me the intent of going there.
Mm.
To me, the intent is closer to like I want to be thoughtfully challenged on what I think about cuisine, and like I I feel like when we were there, I was either like very impressed or I was either very impressed or like, oh, like that is so interesting. And I like came out of that meal thinking like, oh, that was like a really dope experience. I never thought that those two flavors could go together. I'm not sure that I would have expected this dish to come out like that. I mean, there's some of the basic stuff that like is ultra expected. Really good knife cuts, really premium culinary technique, all of that. There's also like, but I mean, I think we left and we were like, still like could eat some pork buns. Like I would put the
Yeah,
100 baht pork buns against a lot of that food.
for sure.
As far as like I'm hungry, let me eat something that's delicious. That being said, you don't get that opportunity to eat like that very often, and it's a full experience. I don't, even like Sammy's not much of a foodie, but like she even came out of it like really impressed with the meal, and thought it was very like I don't know, just thought provoking. I guess is the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
I don't know that you do that again and again. I can't see myself doing that over and over and over again. There's a couple things that I mean, the meal was interesting. The main course was fucking durian, which is crazy, right? And if you don't know what durian is, it's like the super. I don't want to say it's like specific to Thailand or everything, but everyone that goes to Thailand talks about like durian, and it's this fruit, and it's big like a jackfruit, and it it's very like divisive of a fruit, right? People are either like into it or they're like really not, and
Hmm.
it has a smell like it's kind of like rotten flesh for lack of a better term, right? It's kind of gnar. And it was grilled.
Which we all tried it at a night market first,
Yeah.
and I was extremely nervous to try it. And to me, it didn't have really any major scent or flavor. That like it was kind of sweet, but like I didn't really feel any type of way. Where like Rochelle was like very
Yeah.
offended by it, and then I can't remember. Did you enjoyed it or Sammy enjoyed it? I felt like one of you liked
No,
it.
I don't think that I was like stoked about
No?
it, but I also like I remember thinking like, oh, this isn't a good one. I remember thinking when we had it
Yeah.
on the street, like, oh, this isn't maybe it's like not the in season, right? Or it was like almost like it wasn't like a perfectly ripe one. So I kind of discounted that one. The grilled durian that we had at Ga was I remember being really good. And it was served with like a bunch of shit and it had like side like little side kind of um things to put on it
Yeah, it
and
had a bunch of like
chips and it was like
toppings.
yeah, it was like this whole like
It, it was a little confusing to me.
yeah, that's fair.
The durian, like it came with like some. I guess they were kind of like a lavash cracker of some sort, and then yeah, it was like a grilled durian, and then it almost looked like it had like the top of it looked like it was like melted like cheese all over it, but I don't think it was. I think it was just like the durian just kind of like caramelized the top of it. You know, it was kind of like blistered, and yeah, it was there was something going on. But yeah, the idea was you take some of the durian, you spread it on the cracker, and then you load it up with like one of these toppings or several of them. I think that was what was confusing to me. I was like,
It's
well,
like a
this
pickled onion.
I
There's like
didn't
a
really know. I was like, am I supposed to put all of these things on? Am I supposed to like take one at a time? Which I did a little bit of both. To me, like the toppings themselves were like better than the durian. Um, and I was just kind of like, meh, okay, about that.
but interesting and like and that's like what I'm saying like
It was interesting for sure.
okay, I'm signed up for this thing that like I'm okay with it not being the best meal that I like the most delicious like dude, I love a good Philly cheesesteak, man. Like I mean that shit is so fucking good. Like I don't need that out of like a thought-provoking dish. You know, like
It's true.
I would rather it be thought-provoking than delicious at that price point. Now, I'm not going to do that every day.
Do you have a dish that was your favorite from that meal,
Um
or something that sticks out?
like tuna tartare tacos that were so good.
Super
Super
good. Yeah,
good.
those are very good.
Uh what was the cracker on that? It was like a sesame seed
No, it
kind
was
of
like
like curled.
it was very
Yeah,
heavily spiced,
Indian
like
again.
like yeah, tons of like Indian spice, and it was like a call it a taco. I mean, it was like a taco shell, but it was like
Hard, crispy.
the size of like I don't know a quarter. Like
Yeah.
it was very small. And then, but the one that stuck out the most to me was the uni. It was like uni and like it's like a mushroom. Or wait,
I forgot about that.
oh that was the mushroom was like the caviar, right? No shit. Now I said the one that stuck out to me, but I can't remember which one it was. There was uni it was the first time I've ever had uni like that, and that was
I was
delicious.
terrified.
It was
I was
very good.
terrified of the entire
But
meal
then,
with like uni plus durian. I was like,
yeah,
oof, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then but there was like a mushroom. Oh, it was like a mushroom cracker that had the caviar on it.
Yeah,
That was fantastic.
it's dope.
That was really delicious.
It's really good. Um, I thought the meal was dope. I thought the chef was awesome. I thought the service left something to be desired. And you for like a high price point, you expect the service to be like ultra there, dude. Like I'm saying, like I don't want to see you like crossing over bodies. I don't want you to serve with your left hand from the right or your right hand from the left. I almost want like expect at that price point, like
I want Richie Calvert.
yeah, I want
Richie
yeah. Shout out
Calvert
Richie
service.
Calvert. I expect like synchronized service. There was like I don't know if that's too much to ask for, but
Excellent server, by the way.
like drop our there's already 3 people bringing out the food and like drop the plates at the same time. I don't know. Maybe that's too much to ask. And like there's a lot of me that like hates ultra fancy service, right? And I much prefer like casual service and I cuz I think then like it just breeds just a better environment. You know, I'm not like, I don't want it to feel stuffy. I would much rather feel homey when I'm out dining. But I thought that, but to your point, I've had better service at Plum Jacks. Period.
Yeah. Shout out Richie Calvert. Fucking unbelievable server. You talk about putting on a server face, like walking into the dining room one way, you know, or the kitchen, like chatting with your coworkers, and then walking out into the dining room and like putting on your server face and being professional. Like that man is unbelievable. Like, I mean, you and I both had, you know, the opportunity to eat in the dining room there, and you think that when you are eating there and Richie's your server, it's like, you know, like we work together. It's my buddy, you know. No. Richie he's your buddy, but he's also
he's gonna kill it.
And that man is a pro. That man is a professional.
Not just Richie. Not just. I mean,
professional.
Richie, 100%.
No, you're right.
Elisa, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got to. Elisa ever served me when I was in there, but I feel like Richie did both, or every time that I was in there. But yeah, next level service. I've never had a server be as like attentive as Richie.
Duffy, you fucking. I'd like wait for him to.
Duffy,
dude, I would
rock star bus boy.
He was a back server, right? And he like,
sure.
I would like, he'd like fill up my water and he'd like take 3 steps like past, and I would just chug that water just to see how fast he would fill it back up. And he'd like, and like, as you turned around, he'd be like filling up your water again. He's on fucking point.
That boy's quick with a crumber. You got no crumbs on your tablecloth. All right, so let's do a. We've talked about doing like a Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Right. Let's do a Mount Rushmore. Best meals, best items that we had in Thailand. What's your 1-1 has to be on the Mount Rushmore.
1-1. Chiang Mai Khao Soi.
Chiang Mai Khao Soi, nice.
Are we doing individual? Or are we doing snake draft, or what are we doing?
I mean, we got 4 heads, so we'll each take 2.
Okay, that's fair.
But I think I just think that there will be an agreement. I'm gonna go 1-1. I think I'm gonna go.
Wait, 1-2.
1-2. My 1-1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Old Lady Bao Buns.
Love that lady, dude.
Love that lady. Love that lady.
So good.
Can't wait to go back.
I'm
gonna find her too.
I'm gonna go 2-1, 1-2.
1-2, 2-1.
We haven't mentioned this.
I think I might know what you're gonna say. But go ahead. I wanna see if
I can't even decide. I have it in my head. They're both at the same place. I think I'm gonna go hamachi cheek at fucking Fat Boy Izakaya.
Ooh, not the dish I thought you were gonna say from Fat Boy.
I have another one that I was almost about to say.
The noodles?
Cacio e pepe.
Holy shit.
Best fucking the best Italian meal I've maybe ever had was at a Japanese restaurant in Bangkok.
They had these cacio e pepe noodles. They were like house-made noodles. And it was like a play on cacio e pepe, right? Like it had like all the essence of cacio e pepe, but it was like it wasn't traditional like cacio e pepe ingredients, I don't think. I'm still unsure of like even what it all was. It was so fucking good.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
That dish like blew my mind.
We got to make that dish. I have to make that dish. I never made that dish ever. Have you?
I mean, I've made cacio e pepe, but not like that.
Yeah. Do some Asian noodles. It's like yeah. That was bomb. Super bomb. That was the other one that was in my head. So yes.
Hamachi collar.
Fat Boy Izakaya. We haven't really talked about them. They're fucking awesome. We both have shirts.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you're there. And they're like, it's like, hey, how much are those shirts that you're wearing?
Like when they're not really for sale, but we'll sell them to you.
$5. Great.
Okay. So it's that you're going with the collar,
I'm
the
going with
Hamachi collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one that's a dark horse that I'm going to say after you're done anyway.
I have to go. I got to go the. I gotta go chicken noodle soup day one, first meal.
Day one chicken noodle.
Day one chicken noodle. I gotta do it.
I love that. I have two. Can we do two more each?
Two more each. What's it?
I have two more that I want to say at least.
Okay. We can give them.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mentions.
Dude, that ramen shop that we were in Bangkok on our last night in Bangkok was fucking fire, dude. They made all their noodles in house.
Yeah.
We all had different noodles. Were you the one that had the dipping noodle?
Yeah.
That ramen was fucking best bowl of ramen I've ever had for sure.
It was really fire.
Really good. Really, really good. Do you want me to say my other one?
Well, I'll give my.
You know my
honorable mention to the cacio pepe noodles because.
Oh, okay. Oh, did that not make it? That one didn't make it.
He did the hamachi kama.
Okay. There's the one more meal that I do want to mention was the crispy pork at that in Chiang Mai. They had these.
We didn't even talk about that one.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this at all. So I
think we mentioned this on a previous episode.
We found Instagram posts as we're getting fired up to go to Thailand, and we see this dude in Chiang Mai, and he's getting this crispy pork, and they have these big I don't know, they're almost they're ovens. Are they tandoori ovens? They're big
kind of. They're clay pots.
Pots, basically clay pots. And I don't know if they're centrally heated like a tandoori oven or maybe they were coals in the bottom or something, but they're hanging these pork bellies in there, and it has these ultra fucking crispy skin. And I don't know, they just chopped up some fucking crispy pork, the crispiest fucking skin you've ever had. Awesome pork belly. Poured some fucking dark sauce on that shit, and that was the dish, and it was really good.
Yeah, the sauce was, so it was the pork and then rice, and then the sauce was over the rice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
a
thick gravy over it.
It was like a gravy, like a brown, almost red gravy, spicy sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say. It's a great fucking dish. So, great job to Thailand.
My last honorable mention is to our girl Dee
Dee. That's not her name.
She's not a dish, and yeah, it's also. That's not her name, but we thought it was her name.
She is a dish, dude. Take that back.
You're right. She's a dish. She's a snack.
She's a snack.
This it was in the neighborhood. It was just this little super cute Thai woman that ran her little coffee stand out of her house, and it was just the cutest little fucking coffee stand, and serving up some the best Thai iced teas I've ever had. But she was just a delight.
Love it.
That woman.
One more honorable mention.
Our breakfast porridge.
Oh, it was really good. What is it called? What's it called?
I forget. I'll look it up while you.
I was just gonna give it to Lay's fish potato chips or shrimp potato chips. I thought they were great. They got better chips in Asia, so
they do. It's called jok.
Is that what in
jok? It's a savory porridge made of broken jasmine rice, serve as a breakfast food. It's got like little like meatballs in there.
You know, in The Hangover 2, and he's telling, it's not Phil, Ed Helms' character is getting married to the Thai woman, and her dad is saying like, "Oh, you're just like joke." Is that what he's saying? He's like, "You're just a ball of."
I don't remember that.
And old people need you.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah. Look that
up.
It
might be. You might be right.
I don't know if it's joke, but I know that he like refers to his character. He's like, "You're just a ball of rice, and we need you because old women don't have teeth."
That's really funny. I can't confirm or deny.
Should we get into our sandwiches?
Yeah, let's wrap up with sandwiches.
What are you? Idiot.
You stupid idiot.
I'm an idiot sandwich.
You're an idiot. Of all the idiots, you stand alone.
I'll go. Because I got sparked mid Thai conversation.
Okay.
And so, we're back in Bangkok, and it's hot, right? I mean, we're talking mid 90s every day. We're walking, we're treading, and your boy gets his little chafe on, right? And so he's looking for a solution, and he's looking everywhere. And we end up in a 7-Eleven, as we always do. And it was recommended that this prickly heat stuff is good to soothe your chafing. Now, I think there's multiple prickly heats. I think there may be a prickly heat spray that I wound up buying, and then maybe potentially another prickly heat soothing powder, potentially. Anyway, I was more chafed than I've ever been in my entire life. And I take this can of aerosol prickly heat and I spray it on my undercarriage for probably 15 seconds. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's feeling pretty good. And so I go back down to my undercarriage. I'm like, hey, let me hit it a little more. And 30 seconds later, pop back up. We walk out of the 7-Eleven. That was probably not in the 7-Eleven. And we're walking around, and I just get the most burning, gnarly sensation that I've ever gotten in my entire life. It's like putting Tiger Balm like all over your crown jewels. And I am, at this point, I was already sweating, but I am just sweating, dude. Like in like so like, when you're like sick and you're like stomach's in knots and you're just like sweating because you like can't like handle like the pain that's going on. That's what I was feeling, but for the boys, the underboys. And eventually we end up in this like corner store, and I mean, there's a lot of these stores where they just have like everything, right? And they're just like selling everything. They buy everything wholesale and they're selling it retail.
We're in Chinatown.
Yeah, we're in Chinatown. And I see this, it's like a 12-pack of baby powder. And I'm like, I need one of these. And they're the little tiny guys, but I was like, I need one of these. Like, and the lady's like, no, like you can buy the whole entire package of 12 of them. And I was like, how much is this entire package? And she tells me 500 baht or whatever, which what does that equate to? Like $9 or
$10.
Yeah.
Not very much.
And I was like, probably like $8. And I was like, I will pay you at the same amount of money to take one of these things out. And we go back and forth because we're not speaking the same language for a while. And eventually, her son is there, who's probably like, I don't know, 14. And we wind up speaking enough of the same language to get the point across. And I buy this baby powder for way more than it was worth, but
worth it.
Boy, was it worth it at that time. Yeah. So congratulations to me. Don't spray prickly heat on your boys.
Don't mace your balls.
Don't mace your balls. So. Congratulations, Brian.
Congratulations, Brian. I wish I had something from Thailand that was speaking to me, or I really kind of got a cop out. I'm gonna read somebody else's submission.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, not one of our listeners, but somebody on Reddit that responded to. So this person's name is Sharkbait, and he says, we had a new guy who was trying to flirt with one of our pastry chefs, and he kept hanging out in the back by them in the name of doing his prep back there. Someone had to yell to him to come out and work the fryer because he was getting some tickets punched in. He walks forward with a bowl of freshly made beer batter, and he drops his onion rings in it and throws them into the fire. They're burning like hell, and he's mad because they look and smell terrible. He promises he followed the recipe for the batter perfectly. Like 2 minutes later, the pastry chef comes out and is super pissed. He left his batter on her station, and he needs to come and get his shit. So we look at what he'd been using to bread the onion rings with. It was the icing for the cinnamon rolls.
Nice.
So, idiot sandwich for that
What's
guy.
his name? You got a name?
Well, the person telling the story, his name is Sharkbait. Ooh-ah-ha.
Well, thank you, Sharkbait, for putting that idiot on our platter.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, great story. Really funny.
Great story.
Thank you to everybody that if you listened to this whole thing, for sticking around with us.
Yeah, we appreciate
This
it.
one was for us. We just wanted to talk about Thailand, and
Dude, we missed some. We could keep going about it.
yeah, if you want to hear
if
more,
you have any questions about it, like, yeah,
we'll
send an
talk
email
about
or-
it again.
or,
Maybe we'll do the same episode again next week.
yeah.
We won't do that.
Well, we still have to plan our next time.
Yeah, next episode it'll just be us planning our trips.
Yeah. We're just going to talk about the same restaurants that we're going to go back to. It'll be super cool. But yeah, I mean, thanks everyone for listening. We're stoked to make it to that double digits, baby. Let's keep it rolling, and we love you. Stay creamy, and we'll see you next time.
Stay creamy.